Okay, today's going to be a very basic video about what we do with our thumbs. So for the plucking hand or your right hand, you want to um, keep the thumb anchored to a string as you play. It doesn't mean it always has to be there, but that should be a major goal of yours. The reason for this is so that we develop accuracy and good placement so that our fingers know where to play. Our thumb can also be prepared on a string that it's about to play, but that's not really a subject for this video. All I want you to focus on, to think about, is basically getting this little edge, the same spot that you would play the string with. So the string would sit kind of like that. That is going to rest on the string. It'll take a little bit of time to resist pushing through and playing, because many beginners, they practice where the hand is floating such that whenever they feel a string, they feel the compulsion to play it, right? So you'll just want to work on this gradually, be patient with it, and just set your thumb on a string, preferably a little closer to where your fingers are playing. But you can, for now, if it's difficult, say the piece that you're playing only ranges the top 3 strings, then just rest your thumb on the D string. There's certain pieces that it might be helpful to incorporate your thumb maybe on the very lowest note that you play, but overall, just try to keep your thumb anchored for right now. As you advance, you'll learn to prepare your thumb on the next string it's going to play once you start playing 2-voice polyphony. But for right now, we just want to establish the habit of having our hand touching the strings by thumb placement. Okay, so the left hand, or the fretting hand, this is one of the things that a lot of people assume that they're doing right, but 9 times out of 10, they're doing it a bit wrong. The main issue that I see people, or the main error that people are committing, is that when they play, their thumb is like this, right? So their thumb is parallel to the neck, essentially. What that does, I have really big hands, and this already makes it difficult to play. So you can see how I'm almost like, it's like I'm holding on to a very small thing, right? And having trouble like getting my hand around it. So when I move, you can see that my fingers are really, really constricted to a certain range of motion. It's hard for me to reach there. And as you can see, my thumb is still pointing that way. Basically, you will also get less pressure because your thumb is putting pressure above the hand, putting pressure over here, and your fingers are putting pressure over here, right? You want to think about your left hand or your fretting hand thumb placement as though you were squeezing something between these 2 fingers, between your thumb and your middle finger. In reality, the thumb will kind of land between the thumb and the ring finger, but just imagine that there's like a weight or maybe a piece of paper or something that you're trying to grab like this. So where do we put our thumb on the back of the neck? Well, if we're playing in first position, which most of us will for the first several months or maybe even the first year of our study, the thumb is going to go roughly between 2nd and 3rd fret. If you were to put your fingers on the frets just at 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you can stretch that far, you'll notice that my thumb very naturally lines up behind second fret. And as I said before, it's kind of putting pressure just a little bit between the second finger and the third finger, mostly between the thumb and the second finger. So on the back of the guitar, you can see it looks like this. And if I sit up straight, you can see that this is a position that we're not going to stay in very often, but if you do the spider scales, this is how your fingers will be. So you can see my hand is here, the thumb is lined up there, and on the back of the neck, it's here. Okay, so the final considerations to keep in mind are that when you play guitar, we are not statues, right? We're not going to sit here and just constantly be in this static position. What we want to be able to do is to be able to move. So when we play something, I'm going to play that again and just watch how my thumb is able to move. And I think it goes like this. So if I put too much pressure on this thumb, I'm not going to be able to slide. I can feel it dragging. But if you watched, I'm able to just move gently. So most of the time, despite what it might look like from the front, we don't want to put an incredible amount of pressure between the thumb and the fingers. You just want to kind of use it as an anchor, again, a placeholder. And then your fingers up front, as you progress, you'll learn that there's a minimal amount of pressure that you actually need. So what you can do is just try to play without pushing too hard with your thumb. And that might actually inspire you to play with less pressure from your fingers. So I hope that was helpful. These are things that you need to monitor for a while until you develop the habit of just doing them as reflexes. So once again, we're going to work on anchoring our thumb to one of the strings so that we know where our fingers are going to land. And then we're going to anchor our fretting hand thumb to the back of the neck. It's going to be basically perpendicular rather than parallel, perpendicular. And we'll find it placed most optimally behind second fret, putting pressure between the second finger and the thumb, and a little bit perhaps closer to the third finger if we need to. Good luck, and I hope this helps to improve your guitar playing and make it easier to play some beautiful classical music.